What's good, everyone? This is Dr. Nee Darko. Make sure you hit the subscribe button below so that you're always up to date on the new uploads as well as alerts on this show. The other thing that you can do to help build this community is make sure you leave a comment below. Let us know what you like, what you don't like about the show, and ultimately, let us know who's winning these arguments, because I need to know that I'm beating Renee in these debates. Run the tape. Okay.
Right? What you want is stories, because stories, especially because they tend to go chronologically, right? They tend to have some sort of timeline that you can follow. Stories tend to stick very well with people, and they allow the listener to be more anticipatory, right? They want to anticipate what is it that you're going to say, right? So if if I ask you, well, how do I know that you're passionate about surgery? And you say, well, I'm interested in this and I'm interested in that and I'm interested in the other thing. I've done some research or whatever. It's like, okay, you mentioned that you did research. The question now then becomes, right, why didn't you talk about the research that you were doing, right? What was the process by which you contributed either to this research or that you completed this research? And then what do you expect, to come from this research? Because that's something that a listener can hold on to, right? Like, oh, Nee Darko, he's the one that's doing surgery, or he's the one that's doing research on, the surgical complications of, soldiers in Iraq, right? And figuring out, what things are, what's the, I don't know, whatever it is, right? But you want to have some sort of detail. So stories is going to be the first thing that you're going to do in order to really compel the listener, the interviewer, right? Yes? You would agree?
Got it.
Yeah. Okay. The other thing you want to avoid, so stories.
I'm keeping notes on my
on your whiteboard.
On my whiteboards. Okay, so I'm creating a story.
You're creating a story.
Who, what, when, where, and how, right?
Yes.
That's how you do a story?
And why.
Okay.
The other thing is you want to avoid a laundry list, right? What I call the grocery list of adjectives. I'm a people person. I'm compassionate. I'm this. I'm that. Right? I'm accustomed to that.
Here we go.
I'm accustomed to that.
Another thing that people don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
Alfred. If he can figure that out.
Alfred, can you figure that out? So you don't want a laundry list of adjectives, right?
So tell a story, but be very plain about how you.
So this is the important thing about the laundry list. You can tell a story, and the laundry list will be made in the interviewer's head.
Okay, so let the interviewer come up with that by himself. Let the interviewer
come up with a conclusion, right? Judge Judy, she always says, right? Like, just tell me what happened, and I will come to the conclusion as to what the situation is. Right, but you got to tell me the details before I could come to that conclusion.
So hold on. So if someone says, "Tell me about yourself,"
yeah,
how do you start with that?
So you can just tell a story about your life that hits the points that you want that person to know. So if you want them to know that you're a team player, if you want them to know that you have good dexterity, if you want them to know that you're passionate about surgery, then what you do is you create a chronological story in your head that it hits every single one of those themes.
For the question of
tell me about yourself, but that particular theme, right? That formula is going to go throughout the interview. You're going to tell stories. You don't want to be so generic in talking to the interviewer that the interviewer then melds every single thing that you said with the next 5 interviews that they had.
So is it possible that you can, a very successful interview is you telling a series of stories?
Yes. That really is, yes.
Okay.
You have to tell a bunch of stories because you need the interviewer to come to the conclusion of who you are.
So how about this? So let's say, ask me the question.
Okay. Tell me about yourself.
Should I just say so there was a time when, I was on my fourth year internship, sub-I internship.
Well, you can introduce yourself. Hi, I'm Nee Darko.
I'm Nee Darko.
Hi, my name is Nee.
And I'm from Jersey. You know what I'm saying? New Jerusalem. You know what I'm saying?
What?
Irvington. You never heard that?
No.
That's because you're from Brooklyn.
Good.
But I'm from New Jerusalem. I'm from Irvington. And listen, more about me. So listen, I am interested in surgery, and I'm very much interested in surgery for so many different reasons. See, I'm getting nervous even myself, and I've gone through the process. Right? So I want to go into a story. So how do I go into the story of like why I'm interested in all this stuff? Because I do have a good story.
Hold on. So so the first thing was the story. The second thing was don't create a laundry list. Allow the interviewer, right, to create the laundry list of adjectives for you, right? And then the third thing, oh, dang it.
But how do you transition to the story?
Hold on a second. You made me, dang it. You keep making me forget because you're talking. So, okay, let's talk about.
I'm a surgeon. We talk.
No,
and we interrupt.
You yell.
I've never yelled at you.
Okay.
Alfred.
Can you stop yelling at me, please?
No, I can't stop yelling because that's how I talk.
All right, we're getting kind of long in this interview. Come on.
So how do you transition into a story? Oh, this is what I was going to say. So you transition into your story by thinking about what it is that you actually want to convey. And what it is that everybody wants to convey is why you would be a good candidate for the program. Okay. And you have to talk about why you would be a good candidate for that program, right? It's the same way that I tell my pre-meds. You have to talk about why you would be a great doctor.
All right. So student Dr. Volney, you are here at Docs Outside the Box, surgery residency.
Oh, Lord.
Tell us about yourself.
So my name is.
Over here telling all these stories. Let me get to the point.
It is. Well, but I haven't themed it.
No.
But I haven't themed it. I will try to win
I have stumped the teacher. Teacher.
I will try to wing it.
Why?
It's easier for me to work with somebody who, has already themed out everything or who I can help to theme out everything. But kind of using what you said already, right? What did you say? You said that you have good dexterity. Let me write it down. Dexterity. Mm-hmm. And then you said team. Mm-hmm. And then what else did you say? Passionate about surgery?
Yeah, passionate.
Okay.
He's still looking at you.
Who's looking at me?
The interviewer.
Oh, that's the other thing. You don't have to answer a question right away. You can you can tell your interviewer, can you give me a minute, right? Can you give me a minute so that I can organize my thoughts?
All right, student Dr. Volney.
Well, except for tell me about yourself. Don't do that on tell me about yourself.
Welcome to Docs Outside the Box, university residency, surgery residency program. Tell me about yourself.
So my name is Renee Volney.
And I'm here to say. Okay.
I love surgery in a major way.
Oh, so you're not serious?
Yes. So my name is Renee Volney. I am a student at Kansas City University, College of Osteopathic Medicine.
Doesn't like eye contact?
Yes. And why are you doing this?
This is an interview.
Right? Your interviewer doesn't make eye contact. They don't say that to you.
In surgery, they do. How would you know? You haven't done a surgery.
Exactly. So why are you interviewing me for surgery?
Anyway. I want to see how good you are. You're like, I can make a story out of anything. Go ahead.
Anyway, I didn't say I could make a story out of anything.
But keep going. Keep it going.
Okay. So my name is Renee Volney, and what was I saying? My name is Renee Volney. I'm a student at Kansas City University, and let's say, I grew up in Brooklyn. I grew up in Brooklyn. My family's of Haitian descent, and my parents came here in the early 70s, and grew up in a very traditional household. One of the things that I think I remarked about myself very early on in life was something that I think most people don't, and it's that I was very good with my hands. When I was younger, I used to help my mom bake cakes. And a lot of times, there were times when I had to we grate, right? You grate like lemons and things like that, which, when you're younger, you don't really think anything of it.
She thinks this is a bakery interview. X her off.
You don't think anything of it.
Okay.
But as you go on, you start to get more and more responsibility. And, next level up was, chopping vegetables, onions, things like that. And I remarked, pretty early on that I was really good at that. Never really thought anything of it. But as I kind of moved on into, my life and getting into medical school, one of the things that I found was that I had that same trait in surgery, is that I was really good with my hands. And that was something that was remarked very much on my surgery my surgery rotations, my OBGYN rotations, my family medicine rotations.
Bragging on herself. She'll never make it here. Keep going.
So I think, having that level of dexterity, either with baking, with cooking, even with sewing and crocheting, from a very young age, really gave me the confidence to be able to use my hands. And so, that's one of the things that really interests me about surgery, is that I'm able to use my hands. The other thing that interests me about surgery is the teams, right? There are a lot of people who are involved in taking care of patients on the surgery rotation. From not just the doctors, the nurses, obviously the residents, but you have, all kinds of ancillary staff, social work and case managers, things like that, who come in and, help the patients to do what it is that they need to do in order to get much better. And I think the practice that I've gotten from working on a team is actually working with an organization that I was a part of in medical school, and just understanding the dynamics. And then I would tell a story about, when I had to work on some project, right? Like, that's what I would do. I would tell a story, right? I would tell a story. I'd be like, for example, there was a time that we had to do X, Y, and Z project, blah, 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 blah. I'll tell the story about, like, when we did the MBA project, right? Right? So in that way, I could mention that I was also a dual degree, right? So I would say, there was a time that I was working on a project with my MBA team, because I'm a dual degree student. You see how I threw that in there? Mm-hmm. Right? And then I tell the story about how we created the EMR project that we did that year.
Correct.
Right? So that would talk about the team.
Okay.
And then the last thing would be being passionate about surgery, which I kind of already mentioned in the whole dexterity thing, but you could see how that passion kind of comes throughout, right? It basically is kind of linear throughout the whole thing that I'm talking about. So that's kind of what you want to, you want to say, right? It's a little bit harder for me because this is not my real story, but figure out what your story is.
I bet you I could do a really good OB-GYN one.
Go ahead.
No.
Tell me about yourself.
I do want to ask you about...
I love babies.
Because we